A hasty return to Ottawa for some high-level talks. Justin Trudeau scrapped a trip to Regina to huddle with top advisors and plan his next moves. So an afternoon strategy session in the midst of a political crisis. The Prime Minister, Chief of Staff Katie Telford, Communications Director Kate Purchase, Issues Management Director Brian Clow. Also present, David McNaughton, Canada's ambassador to the United States and one of Trudeau's most trusted political advisors. At issue, according to a source, the possibility of a message of contrition, a way for Trudeau to show some ownership over the actions of his staff and officials for their dealings with former Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould. It's a shift from the tone of defiance the Prime Minister adopted on day one.
The allegations in the Globe story this morning are false.
But things have changed in sudden and seismic ways. The abrupt resignation of Jane Philpott, one of Trudeau's most respected ministers, has forced a shift in thinking.
I want to address something.
And a shift in message, the first signs of which appeared at Monday night's rally in Toronto.
This matter has generated an important discussion. How democratic institutions, specifically the federal ministry, and the staff and officials that support it, conduct themselves is critical and core to all of our principles.
So while those deliberations happen in private, others go public with their support for the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister absolutely has my confidence.
I have absolute confidence in the Prime Minister.
I believe that the government did nothing wrong.
Maybe not, but contrition is on the table.
Hi, Prime Minister. Are you going to apologize?
Pleasure to see you tonight.
Apology, sir.
So should we expect this message of contrition from the Prime Minister tomorrow, David?
Yeah, that's still not clear, Rosie. We know that him and his top advisors met for several hours, but still no final decision has been made, and largely because they're waiting on a couple of things, namely the fact that it's a big day at the House of Commons Justice Committee tomorrow. Jerry Butts, the Prime Minister's former top advisor, is going to testify in the morning. That's the main event. He has a very specific narrative to tell to the committee. The Clerk of the Privy Council, Michael Wernick, is back for a second appearance, as is the Deputy Minister of Justice, Nathalie Drouin, who's back for a second time. So what I'm told tonight by senior government officials is that the Prime Minister and his advisors want to listen to that testimony, see how it plays out, see what the reaction is, and then decide when and how the Prime Minister is going to respond. I'm told it's possible Trudeau could respond as soon as tomorrow afternoon. A senior official says tonight not to rule that out, him responding after the clerk's testimony is done perhaps. And Rosie, if that happens, a big day on this story is going to get a whole lot bigger.
Okay, I'll meet you back here tomorrow then. David Cochran, thank you. The SNC-Lavalin story has dominated headlines for a month. Now there are signs it is having an impact on voters as a fall election gets closer. The CBC's latest poll tracker shows the Conservatives edging ahead of the Liberals. And the creator of that poll tracker, Eric Grenier, joins me now from Ottawa. Okay, what should we make of these still early polling numbers, Eric?
Yeah, they are very early. They're all data that comes from before Jane Philpott's resignation this week. But we have seen that the Liberals have taken a hit, about 4 points in the polls since the story first broke at the beginning of February. And this is the widest lead we've seen for the Conservatives in the polls in almost a year. We've seen losses for the Liberals in Ontario and Atlantic Canada, and also in Quebec, though they are less vulnerable there, where the SNC-Lavalin affair is playing out much differently.
Okay, what are the prospects then that they can recover?
Well, the last time they were this low was in the wake of the India trip last year. And we did see that after 6 months, the Liberals were able to regain a 6-point lead over the Conservatives. So the question is whether the Conservatives will be able to make this last and hold the voters that they've been able to get over the last few weeks. But Andrew Scheer has not shown any growth in his own personal numbers. He's still trailing the Prime Minister on a number of factors. And in some polls, his numbers actually have gotten worse over the last few weeks. So that's the challenge for the Conservative leader.
And last year, as I think this year, they used the budget to sort of reset the narrative. We will expect them to do that again. But how has Justin Trudeau's personal brand taken a hit in this particular controversy?
He took a hit after India, but I think that he took a hit that goes to trust and ethics. We've seen a number of polls now that show by margin of 2-1 Canadians believe Jody Wilson-Raybould's version of events over Justin Trudeau. And we've seen that there's a significant portion of voters who used to have a good opinion of Justin Trudeau, thought that he represented positive change. Those voters are now questioning that. And the challenge will be whether Liberals will be able to prevent them from going over to the Conservatives or staying home.
Okay, CBC poll analyst Eric Grenier, thank you.